what I like to do right now is just have everybody stand up and give my wife a hand for her courage and her strength. Look to your side, left and right. Look to your behind. Look behind and shake and say and greet people. Because we do this Hawaiian style. Hey, some of y'all just were hugging a little too long. Easy. So I can't. Love you too. I tried over the past week doing a lot of things and running around, and I tried putting my feelings in words, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't write anything down. I just couldn't do it. So I'm gonna speak from the heart right now, and I really cannot top what my brother-in-law Glenn said about Malea's life. I do know that most of you or all of you have spoken to Malea, know Malea, and you all know the type of person she is and the type of heart she had. And she's a beautiful lady. And Glenn was right. I didn't. I kept going to Starbucks. And I finally got some free caramel macchiatos. When I got the free caramel macchiato, I knew I was in. Right? And I thought, it was in the summer in Seattle, and I was working hard I was a supervisor, by the way. But I was a little more buff. I had a tan, and I also back then had these little contacts were green. Right? So she kept telling me, "You got beautiful eyes." I said, "I know." Anyway, I took them out one day, and she was disappointed. She said, "I knew it." She said, "That's okay." When I met my wife, the term they say, this guy's got a lot of baggage, right? Well, I didn't have a lot of baggage. I had a semi-truck, And the beautiful thing about this is I had 2 kids from my previous marriage, Jaylene and Kial, and she had her 2 sons, Mark and Justin. And when we brought the family together, it was everything was right. Everything was right, And these are my sons. And I know that my daughters are Malea's daughters, never wavered. On my side, I have 6 grandchildren, 1 more on the way. Kanohos, they make a lot of babies. I don't know why. But my grandkids always loved Malea, and called affectionately her Tutu, which is grandmother in Hawaii. And they would call, they would talk, and Malea always remembered all the birthdays. I couldn't remember the birthdays. She always remembered all the birthdays. But bless her heart, she finally had her true official granddaughter Mariana, and what a blessing, because when I look at her eyes, I see Malea's eyes. And it's just a wonderful thing, and I'm so grateful. There's a few people that really made this happen, and I want to thank all my colleagues at work. They pulled together. They gave me an opportunity to spend the last several weeks with my wife by donating leave. They passed a pot where we were able to fund for my son and Mariana to come all the way from Seattle to see Tutu before, while she was still living, and it's just a wonderful thing. So you know, without you folks and my colleagues at work, some of this may not have happened. But I also want to thank all our family and friends and all the community in the Ashburn area who did fight with her, raised a lot of money to try to get her treatment. Well, that's probably my cue to get off the stage. You know, Malea, whenever I would talk or perform music or coach my boys, Malea would always be in the back. Cut it out. So, you know, I'm just speaking from the heart right now. Give me a few minutes. Give me a few more minutes, Mama. Okay. Yeah. The community raised a lot of money to help support her. The folks at the Ashburn Club, Nick's Corner Grill, and just everybody out there. The meals that we get from families and friends to help in these grieving times, it's just been a phenomenal. The support is just unbelievable. But she's a special lady, and I'll tell you right now, my love for her will never waver. I will carry on her name and help me to get her story out there, because her story is unbelievable. And when the doors were slamming on our faces, when the doctors had told us even a year ago that you never believed that was the case, she fought. And I'll tell you one thing, if you ever talked to her in the last 6 months face to face, she was in a lot of pain, but you would never know that because she was so considerate to others and loved every one of you that came in her lives. And we're gonna definitely launch the Malea Kanoho Foundation, Malea Renee Kanoho Foundation, so that we can help other cancer victims that need the help. Where when we were reaching out to organizations like the Susan Komen G and the American Cancer Society, the best they could do for us was to give us a $50 gas card. And I think that's wrong. I think that's wrong. We need an organization out there that will grant a scholarship, that will pay for treatment, that will pay for chemo, that will pay for mammograms, that will help other victims out there and educate young women and women out there about breast cancer. So that's our mission. That's what we're gonna do. Okay. But anyway, I'm gonna tell you right now, the most beautiful thing. My son had a brain tumor. All right. I said had, and my wife held on for him. And when we got the call, almost 2 weeks later after surgery, that we found out what grade tumor it was and what we got to be cautious of and everything like that. Once we told her that, my wife went to sleep. She slept for about 3 days, and then she got up on an early Sunday morning, and we knew the angels were coming to take her away. We were able to be there, hold her hand, and I'm gonna tell you something special. My son held her hand as she took her last breath, my son Dallas. And as my son held her hand, he kept saying, "Fight." And he wasn't crying yet. And he kept saying, "Fight, Mom, fight." And when she did take her last breath, my son said to my wife, her mother, "Mom, I'm not sad. I'm not mad. I'm not sad because you fought to the last breath." I love you for that, son. I love you for this. My mom got I was sobbing sobbing. I was rubbing her feet when my mom got my grandmother on the phone. And one of the reasons why I married Malea was because I wanted to marry somebody like my grandmother, right? My grandmother, she can kick some butt. And my grandma got on the phone with me and I was crying and crying. My grandma said these words to me that means a lot to me. She said, boy, stand firm, stop your crying right now, and be strong for your kids. Malea has suffered all through all these years. She's in peace now. Let her go. She's at peace. My wife is in peace. My wife is not suffering. She's not trying to take another breath. It doesn't hurt anymore. And the beautiful thing about this is I get to take her home tonight and sleep with her again. Okay? So at this time, I used to always do this song for my wife. I'm gonna try. Forgive me. If people start to leave, I understand. I'm gonna sing our wedding song that I sang on our wedding day. My brother-in-law, I was playing drums. He did play drums, and for some reason, when everybody was done playing, he came back up there and did a drum solo. So I just want you to sit back. Everything's gonna be all right. So I want to get the other time band up here, right? And we always did this song in honor for my wife when my wife was listening to us sing, and so I'm gonna try this, okay? All right. This, huh? Oh, I forgot. I want to. This is what's up. She held on for my son. My son never saw this picture until now.